Hello everyone, this is Satish Kumar. So I'm here with my new lesson, and in this lesson we are going to continue my leadership lesson. Okay, so we have already learnt two leadership lesson about basic ingredients of leader and the difference between manager and leader. So in our today's class we are going to learn about the all the theories of leadership, and this we're not seen one single session, so we will take our time. So I'll give a number of lessons. Okay, so first we'll start with the theories. Okay, so I have already given what is leadership. For the sake of our understanding, once again let me give it. So leadership is nothing but ability to influence a group or a people or a person toward the achievement of vision or set of goals. So in leadership, one person, he may be a manager, he may be any ordinary individual, anyone, a person is influencing other people. Okay, he is influencing other people. By this influence, that other person is willingly work to the achievement of the vision or goal or set by the leader, this person. Okay, or the organization that he represents. Okay, if I'm a person who's working as a manager in a company, okay, I influence my people so that all my people will work towards the achievement of the goals of the organization. Okay, in that case I'm a leader. Okay, if I can't influence and if I'm just using my managerial position to get the work done, then I'm a ordinary manager. Okay, if I could influence my people, okay, then I'm a leader. Okay, so this is the basic difference between a manager and leader, and this is the basic definition of the leader. And as I said earlier, the source of this influence can be formal. Like if I have given a managerial position, then this source of influence is formal. Okay, but even if I am given a formal position, only when I have leadership quality I can influence others. Okay, sometimes people who don't even have the formal recognition, the source of something, a person may not even have any post, hold any post, but still he may wield a great amount of influence over people. People will like him for some qualities that he possesses. Okay, that person. In such a case also, that person will be considered as a leader. The classic example is um, in India, it's Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so the biggest, they say Mahatma Gandhi never held any formal position. Okay, he was never held any position in the Congress or the Indian. Even after India got freedom, he never took any position in the parliament, or he could become the prime minister of India. See, one of the greatest thing about Mahatma Gandhi is all the leaders who got independence. There are multiple countries like India which fought freedom against some colony, some imperialists. All these countries, when they got freedom, no, the person who led that movement for the freedom movement, no, they became the leader. But Mahatma Gandhi is the only person who did not take any position. He instead let people like Ambedkar, Nehru, Rajaji, and all these people occupy important position. He never took any. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, all he gave all those position. That is the greatness of Gandhi. That is a different thing. Okay, so Gandhi is one person who doesn't hold any position, but he is still a leader. And even today we are saying that he is the man who gave the freedom. He is the man who gave the India that is today. India which is democracy, of India which has voice for minorities, India which has voice for lower class people, and all these things because of Gandhi. Okay, India is a secular country. Of course, Nehru worked on his Gandhi's principle, but Gandhi laid the foundation. Okay, we all have to be proud on such things. Okay, so Gandhi is a leader who never held any position, but he is still a leader. So leadership is not about position. Leadership is not about position. It is about the influence. Any person could become a leader if you could influence people. Okay, and once they are influenced and people, they will automatically get position. If they want to take, they can take, and if like they are like Kamaraj and Gandhi, they won't take. Okay, these people are selfish. They are not selfish people. They are, so they won't take. Okay, okay. um, See, in an organization, we both we organization require both leader and manager. Okay, don't think that because leader is something influencing people is great. That is also the requirement of manager. In fact, managerial skill also equally important for any leader to be more effective. Okay, I may be a person who is influencing other people, but if I don't have managerial skills, no, I may not be as successful as, or as effective as others want me to be. So managerial skills are also equally important. In fact, these days an organization require a mixture of both these, good management and good leadership. If there is an organization which has something like that, we could say that organization is a successful, effective organization. So, okay, the aim of this lesson is not about discussing what is leadership, because we have already discussed what is leadership when I was giving what is the basic ingredients of leadership. In this lesson, we will learn about the theories of leadership. Okay, a formal study, what makes a leader, and what makes a leader an effective leader. For that, we need to know different theories of leadership. In fact, there are a lot of theories, more than 10 theories are there, and which are all very important. We need to have a very good understanding of all those things if we want to know what makes a person a leader or not a leader. Okay, so I'll tell the different leadership theories. First is the great man theory. Okay, great man theory. There is this great man theory, which was there before 1930s or 1940s. Okay, it was there before 1940s. This idea was prevalent. Great man theory. Okay, great man theory is nothing but it says that leaders are born. That some people are born with some qualities that distinguish from other people, and these people will become a leader. Okay, in fact, it is a theory that mm, says that leaders are born and not made. Okay, but that is not the case. Okay, so it was earlier version. Okay, great man theory. Then came the trait theories. Okay, it also using the popularity of the great man theory and using it as a base, no, building on the great man theory, it also said that leaders have some natural qualities. Okay, some natural qualities, and these natural traits, that is what traits. Okay, characteristics or a trait that leader possess. Okay, for example, a person may be courageous, a person may be having good communication skill, a person may be very aggressive. Okay, a person may be high in intelligence. So these kind of traits. Okay, so that is the second. This was prevalent in the 1940s. Okay, we will learn all these things in detail, but first I am giving what are all the types of the leadership theories are there. There are different trait theories. Okay, then came the behavioral theories, the third versions of. So this theory is the first theory which says that leadership is about not only about inner natural qualities. Leadership can be learnt, leadership can be taught. This was the first theory which said that it focuses on the person's environment. Okay, how a environment, how a leader acts in an environment, how he acts, it will determine a person a leader or not. So the behavioral theories, the leadership behavior, how a person behave, okay, whether he behaves with the concern for people or whether he is focused on goals, and these behavior will determine whether a person is a leader or not. That is the behavioral theories. There are some few theories on behavioral theories. We will see all those things one by one, we will see later. Okay, then next came the situational theories. So leadership theory, behavioral theories were there between trait theories were there between 1940s and 60s, and behavioral theories were there in the 1960s, and in the latest 1960s and 70s, no, there came another form of theories known as situational theories or contingency theory. Contingency situation are one and same. Okay, so it does mean that see what situational theory did was it challenged the behavioral theory, saying that it is not leader's behavior, one single trait or one single behavior of leader will determine a person as leader, rather than it depends on the situation. Okay, depends on the situation that a person how he exhibits his quality, he will become a leader. For example, see, I'll give a small example to clarify this what is situational leadership. See, there may be two types of people. One person may be highly uneducated and is very rigid and is very uncooperating. He is not cooperating on whatever we say. Okay, there is a person like that, and he is lazy and he is not willing to work. Okay, there is this kind of person. Then there may be another person who is highly educated, who is not rigid, who is flexible, and who is who follows orders. Okay, there is other person like that. Okay, see, these two people, these are different types of situation. Okay, one person is like this, one person is like that. If I am going to influence these two people, no, I cannot apply a single behavior trait to influence these two people. For example, this person who is not cooperating and lazy, no, and uneducated and rigid, no, that person might need some sort of control. For example, I need to be very somewhat autocratic toward with him. I have to be task oriented. I have to order him to do things. I have to watch him like that. But in the case of the other person, that is the person who is actually is educated and flexible and willing to follow orders, no, to such person I could just easily move. I don't need to be autocratic with him. I can be democratic with him, participative with him. Okay, so I cannot be participative or democratic with the other guy who is highly arrogant and what you say. Okay, so such a type of theories came. Okay, saying that a leader cannot act in all situations the same way. Leaders have to adopt different methods. Okay, one of the criticism of Gandhi was always following the same thing to same people. He never changed his method. Okay, he never acted to the situations. Okay, for example, in the 1940s and all, no, when British was not willing to leave India, no, at that time people like Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, all these people wanted to take aggressive stand against British rather than just going by non-violence and non-cooperation and the Gandhian movement. Okay, so they want to take some aggressive step, but Gandhi was not for that. Okay, so that was a criticism. So some people even today question Gandhi's method. They say that he should also have followed the path of Subhash Chandra Bose. Of course, I disagree with it, but there are people who believe such way. That is, it is all subjective. We don't know which is the, I may say Gandhi's method is correct, that person may think Subhash Chandra Bose method is correct. Again, all these are subjective matters. So that is why situational theory. A situational theory is the leader acting according to the situation. Okay, Gandhi is one person who could go to a place where violence is happening without even any security or without any bodyguards like that. He will go. He did that when the Hindu-Muslim fight was going on in the West Bengal and other places. No, he went there. He went there and he did some fast. Okay. And they will mock that காந்தி எதுக்கு எடுத்தாலும் விரதம் இருக்கிறாரு அப்படின்பாங்க. பட் ஆனால் அவர் பண்ணார், காந்தி இது பண்ணுவார். பட் தீஸ் டேஸ் வி கேன் நாட் டூ தட். ஒரு நக்சலைட் வந்து ஒரு இடத்துல ஒருத்தன் தொல்லை பண்ணுறாருன்னு நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், கவர்மெண்ட்டு வில் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்லி சென்ட் ஆர் ஆர்ம் ஃபோர்ஸஸ் டு சப்ரஸ் தம். இல்லை ஒரு ஜாதி கலவரம் நடக்குது, அடிச்சுக்கிறாங்க மக்கள்னா மோடி என்ன அங்கே போய் உட்காந்து உண்ணாவிரதமாக இருப்பார். மோடி என்ன பண்ணுவார், படையை உடனே அனுப்புவார் ஜாதி கலவரத்தை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணுங்கன்ட்டு. ஸோ காந்திஸ் அப்ரோச் வாஸ் சைட்லி டிஃப்ரெண்ட். தட் சுச்சுவேஷன், அந்த சுச்சுவேஷனுக்கு அப்படி காந்தியோட மெத்தட் இதாச்சு, இந்த சுச்சுவேஷனுக்கு இந்த மெத்தட் தான் இதாகும். ஸோ அகெயின் த சுச்சுவேஷன் டிமாண்ட்ஸ் டிஃப்ரெண்ட். அதுதான் அந்த சுச்சுவேஷனல் தியரி. லீடர்ஸ் கேன் நாட் எக்ஸிபிட் ஆல்வேஸ் அ சேம் ஸ்டைல் அப்படிங்கிறது தான். ஓகே, அது வந்து 1960s, தீஸ் தியரிஸ் வேர் there in the 1960s and like that. Okay, then came the transactional theory or the management theory. Transactional theory or management theory is nothing but a manager using his formal position to you give orders and create structures and reward people and get the job done. Okay, see, in fact this management theory is a highly tested one. Okay, in developed cultures this may not work, but in a developed culture like a Western country, I won't say them a developed culture, a modern culture, okay, where there are more number of highly educated people, what you say, okay, in such cultures where people talk about the right, no, those places transactional theory may work very well, may not work very well. There need much better theories, leadership styles. But in conditions like India, in other underdeveloping countries, places, no, transactional theory will highly work, where a manager or leader uses his formal position to set goals and inform the subordinates to do that, and he uses reward as a method to control them, to motivate them, and penalties as a method to control them. Okay, so such a kind of leaders, it is a basic a managerial style leader. That is why it is called management theory, transactional theory. Then later came different contemporary approaches like charismatic leadership, okay, transformational leadership, okay, authentic leadership. These are all the modern approaches. We will see all these leadership theories. In fact, this charismatic leadership, transactional leadership and authentic leadership are highly valued these days. Okay, in fact in Western countries these kind of leaders are highly sought after. Okay, what is a charismatic leadership? Charismatic is nothing but a person who is having some extraordinary qualities. For example, when we associate with people like MGR, Gandhi, Nehru, these people are extraordinary charisma, a gift which people will see them as something extraordinary. Okay, so they will automatically follow these people. So charismatic leaders has some qualities. We will learn in detail about what is charismatic and how charismatic leaders influence people. Okay, then we will also learn the transformational leader, and an advanced part of charismatic leader, because charismatic leaders also have some form of what you say, deficiencies. So another format, an improved version of charismatic leadership is transformational leadership. Then a later form of leadership is authentic leadership, a leadership with high integrity. Okay, all these leadership theory we will find. In fact, there are nearly 10 to 12 theories are there. We will see all this in detail. This is a brief introduction of what is leadership theories. Okay, in my first lesson, we will start up with what is the trait theory, because great man theory we don't need to discuss, it is a small part. That is, great man theory is nothing but leaders are born. Some people are born with certain traits like communication intelligence and all these things, they become leaders. Okay, some which not ordinary people possess. Okay, so the people who are called as leaders are possessing some skills which normal people don't possess, so they become leader. That is the version of great man theory, but it was highly discredited because in these days it is accepted anyone can become a leader provided he has the basic knowledge and basic intelligence and willingness to learn and work. Okay, work hard and improve his skills. Okay, anyone can become a leader. So great man theories are highly discredited. We'll start up with the trait theories, which will be interesting, and we'll look one after one the different theories. Okay, this is a brief introduction. Bye.